Extra news reports have inevitably affected our programme times. Tonight's case for Special Squad now starts a few minutes later than advertised at around 3:10 after International Sports World.
Wednesday at 8, it seems as if Higgins is in for a rough ride.
You'll see, Higgins, everything will be fine in the morning.
No, it won't, Thomas.
You lost the manuscript.
And found an unwanted private eye.
Luther.
Luther?
Any romantic dalliances with perhaps the wrong woman?
You know, you are probably one of the nicest men I've ever met.
They all say that. Magnum P.I. Wednesday at 8 on Central. Some people believe that the way we write can often reveal individual characteristics. It can point to genius, violence, show passion, or indicate mental instability. True or false? Don't miss James Randi's Psychic Investigator, Wednesdays at 9 on Central.
Hey, phone, yakety yak. It's fun. So chat now, dial now. 0898 22 6622. Yakety yak, live chat.
Sun comes up, day begins, and it won't be long till we're drinking it in. Drinking in the sun, sun-kissed is the one. Drinking in the sun, sun-kissed is the one. Drinking in the sun.
I had a drink in a hotel, and I met this girl at the bar, very pretty. You know, she was the picture of health, and got on really well. I suppose the little devil in my head would have been saying, "Go on, Sam." So I suggested that we went upstairs, have a drink, and Bob's your uncle. And that's what it's like on holiday. I mean, I really wish that I'd taken some condoms with me, but, you know, it's easy to say that now.
A condom can help protect you from HIV. For the facts, phone the National AIDS Helpline, free, on 0800 567 123.
This really is very scrummy. That bloke's a nutter.
Remind you of anybody's face?
Oh, that's cruel.
Hey, where is Harold anyway? I haven't seen him all week. Maybe his face exploded.
Why doesn't somebody tell him?
Like what? You should do something about your zits? I don't know. Maybe, like, slip him some Clearasil.
No one's going to tell you to your face you need Ultra Clearasil. It's so effective, you'll have fewer spots in just 5 days.
He's back.
Harold?
Someone must have told him.
Ask your pharmacist for Ultra Clearasil. Fewer spots in 5 days.
Speed, strength and skill in a wide range of disciplines will decide the Superstars Championship in International Sports World after this news report from ITN.
At least 3 dead as Soviet tanks attack Russian parliament barricades. 2 of the victims were crushed to death by Red Army tanks, according to eyewitnesses. A column of a dozen light tanks attempted to break through a ring of barricades set up to protect the Russian parliament building. Demonstrators threw petrol bombs, setting fire to some of the tanks and forcing others to pull back. There's no sign of an assault on the parliament building itself, although Mr. Boris Yeltsin, the leader of the Russian Republic, says he's expecting one and is refusing to leave the building. We have this report just in from our Moscow correspondent, Tim Ewart.
The tension that has been building since Monday's coup finally erupted into violence overnight as Soviet troops tried to smash their way through makeshift barricades defending Boris Yeltsin's Russian parliament. At least 4 people were reported killed and several more wounded as soldiers fired from tanks and armored personnel carriers. Automatic weapons were also fired into the air to deter crowds of protesters. But angry Muscovites made it clear they would not be intimidated, and a number of vehicles were pelted with Molotov cocktails and set on fire. In this incident on the Moscow Ring Road, troops clearly were using some restraint and attempting to keep injuries to a minimum. But tension remains high, and there's continuing anxiety about a major offensive on the Parliament building. In Latvia, the Prime Minister Ivars Godmanis has been arrested, and although Mr. Yeltsin does have some soldiers on his side, they may not be enough to defend him. Tim Hewitt, ITN, Moscow.
And our correspondent Penny Marshall is at this moment just outside the Russian Parliament building. Penny, what's the latest?
Well, an eerie quiet has fallen here now. The crowds in their thousands are still in place, barricading all the roads. But there's a stillness of shock, really. I think it would be fair to say that it is not at all clear what is going to happen next. The tanks have not managed to penetrate the inner defences, and there's no sign of them doing so imminently.
Penny, that's extraordinary, because it doesn't seem as though there's a firm move to overrun the Parliament building.
Not as yet. We're standing by. We can see the barricades of lorries and a human barricade all the way up the road, but we have not once, we've got a clear line of vision of about a mile, seen any tanks getting anywhere near the building itself. And now there is complete silence. There's been no gunfire of any sort, no sound of surging crowds, no shouting for more than 40 minutes.
From what you can gather, is there still a feeling inside the Parliament building that they might yet be under attack?
Very much so, and in the last 10 minutes, 4 river barges have arrived, pro-Yeltsin river barges, blockading the river itself. There's no sign from the crowds that they are relieved that it's over. Indeed, they're right in the middle of it, and the tension could not be higher.
Penny Marshall in Moscow, thank you very much indeed. Pictures of the Soviet tank assault and the Russian barricades are still being satellited out of Moscow. Edward Sturton here at ITN has been monitoring the latest developments.
If military commanders believed their armour could advance on the Russian parliament without opposition, they were to be disappointed. The target was the makeshift barricade erected to protect Boris Yeltsin and his supporters, the first line of defence, the commitment and the voices of the crowd. Argument at least delayed the assault. This is, after all, an army moving on its fellow citizens. But they pressed on, and here it paid off. Those defending the Parliament building had assembled their own weapons, crude but sometimes effective. The Molotov cocktail was, after all, invented during an earlier Russian revolution. At least 3 tanks are reported as abandoned by their crews, left burning on the ring road. But there is, for the first time, blood on the streets of Moscow this morning, the first deaths in the capital since President Gorbachev was overthrown. The latest indications we have suggest that this assault was not pushed to the conclusion that Boris Yeltsin feared when he spoke to the Prime Minister this afternoon. The crowds are still on the streets. The Parliament building itself has not yet been stormed. But a victory for the reformers, this may simply be the opening skirmish.
Edward Sturton reporting. That's the end of this ITN News report. Our next scheduled news is on ITV at 5:30.